Were you surprised by January 6th? And do you think Donald Trump should be held accountable in a way more than impeachment? If incitement of violence is a crime. It's a crime at the state and the
Yeah,
federal
well,
level. It's Donald Trump's
I'm very
crime.
open about that. I think he should be jailed for what he did. He's a traitor. He goes into the pantheon of rogues characters in America. What would be Jefferson Davis, who ran the Confederacy, Benedict Arnold. He is a seditionist and a traitor, an insurrectionist, and he is now a domestic terrorist. And so that's the reason why he got taken off of Twitter. God only knows how many direct messages, Kim, were going between him and his staff and his acolytes to people that were pushing this bizarre agenda. And then, he knew what was going on January 6th. You asked me if I was surprised. I was surprised. I have to be honest. It was my birthday. And so now my birthday is going to be one of those like weird days, you know what I mean?
Those weird 9/11 days.
Like 9/11. But I was home getting ready to celebrate my birthday. I was watching this unfold. And I said, okay, this is literally going to go down in history as one of the darker moments in America. The American president who decided not to accept a peaceful transfer of power in a free and fair election called on his supporters to march on the Capitol and to fight on his behalf. And but for a few Capitol Police that directed rioters away from the Senate chambers, we could have lost elected officials. Mike Pence could have been killed. Speaker Pelosi could have been killed. There's memes going around like, how does Mike Pence go back to work after his boss tried to kill him? The point being, this has to be spoken about for what it is. One of the biggest risks that we do is because he's sitting in the office of the American presidency, we have a tendency to normalize because we have this respect for the august institution of the presidency. And so what we're failing sometimes is he's nuts. And we're saying, oh, well, he can't be that nuts. He's the American president. There's a lot of that going on, a lot of that cognitive dissonance that goes on in our society. So we have 72 hours. I'm still worried, frankly, because they can do weird things. I don't even want to mention the weird things they could do because I don't want to give anybody ideas, but they can do very weird things to threaten the security of the people that are at that inauguration. So I'm worried. Secondarily, I think he has to be jailed. And I'm hoping that our political leaders have the will to do it, because I'll just give you an example. If they don't jail him, he may end up becoming more powerful. He may end up, in other words, if they acquit him in the Senate, think of his narrative. Well, I got impeached twice, but I was acquitted twice. This is just a rogues gallery of Democrats that have gone after me. You understand that nonsense, okay? And all of a sudden, he becomes more of a martyr and he becomes more burned in the minds of these cultists. And so he's got to be, for the sake of America and the sake of the continuity and the unity of America, he has to be tried as a seditionist and he has to be prosecuted as such.
So that's different from impeachment. You're saying Merrick Garland, anticipated Attorney General of the United States under Joe Biden, should actually prosecute him for federal crimes, in addition potentially to the DC government, to New York, to Georgia for soliciting election fraud, and even jail them. Some people are saying that would divide the country or get his followers to martyr him and divert James Comey. Bad idea. It will divert Biden from his focus and just embolden the domestic terrorists. How do you respond to that?
I don't agree with that because, it's not like, it's 1946 in Nazi Germany. You can unify with the Nazis. Can't. You have to denazify Germany. And in many ways, you have to de-Trumpify what's going on here because this is a violent movement. The other thing I would tell you is Al Capone was put away, if you remember, for tax evasion. It wasn't the murders. It wasn't the crime syndicate. And so they can find, in my opinion, something. There's investigations going on in New York State. There's an investigation going on in the Southern District of New York related to the Trump Organization and Donald Trump himself. There's a lot of stuff going on here, a lot of activity. Again, everybody should be presumed innocent until proven guilty, but you have tape of Mr. Trump. You have tape of the suggestion for the insurrection. You have tape for the violence. And I think he's got to be locked up. And once he's locked up, I don't agree with these people that these people are going to rise. I think it diffuses And I think it liquidates. And moreover, people like the vice president, now going to be the president, President Biden, President-elect Biden, recognizes what he needs to do. The message of Trumpism is ringing a bell for establishment political leaders, and that is we've created a vacuum of advocacy for a very large part of the American public that are angry with us, and we have to solve for that anger. And I do predict that they're going to start the process of doing that. But you got to get rid of guys like Josh Hawley
I was
and
just going to
Ted
ask that.
Cruz as well. You have to get rid of them as well.